Welcome to Nerf&Turf. I'm Andrew, and on today's episode of Nerf&Turf, we're going to be talking about some really fun things because I have a 3D printer and I have an Etsy store. Hey, why don't I go ahead and show you my 3D printer? Come on. So, right here, I've got my 3D printer. It is pretty cool. It's small. It's not the biggest workspace, but it's perfect for printing off Nerf attachments and parts and products. So I am super excited by this thing. Okay, I'll put you back there. So I've been making 3D models on my computer for a while, rendering those and making them so that eventually I could begin printing and selling things. And I've been able to print them at my college, but now I'm at the point where I have the 3D printer in my house and I have my Etsy store set up so I can sell Nerf attachments to people. And the goal is that I'll go beyond that. Right now I have mostly sights and I'm planning to add some scopes to it soon, and then hopefully some internal parts and external parts that I'd like to add to that store soon. So I am so incredibly excited by this. Probably the most ironic thing about getting the 3D printer is that my 2D printer doesn't work like 2D printer being like paper printer because it's printing on a 2D surface, and the 3D printer being it prints three-dimensionally, which is awesome. In case you've never heard of or seen a 3D printer before, or heard of one but never actually seen it in progress, it's a fantastic thing. I've been using the one at my university because I'm at the University of Texas at Arlington, and we have a lab that allows students to come and use the printers and pay for the plastic that we're using. And it's just so interesting to watch it, but now I have one in my house, so I get to watch it all the time, and it's just so interesting the way it sets the plastic, the way it operates, the way it runs, and the way it thinks. It's so much fun to watch. Sorry, I'm just looking at it over there. It's just such a beautiful thing. I love it. It's quite fun. Now, I'm not an engineer. I'm not somebody that's like really smart when it comes to printing, creating, designing, and putting printers together. So I bought a printer that was already put together, and so I could take the printer and basically straight from the get-go print. Yes, I had to calibrate it and fix little things here and there, but for the most part, it was ready to go when I got it out of the box. Is it a bad thing that I can never remember the name of this thing? Like, I can remember the name of the company, but I can never remember the name of the printer. So the printer is the Monoprice Select Mini 3D Printer version 2. And so it's a pretty sweet thing, and I've had so much fun making it because I've been creating models for quite a while now because I've been printing them at my school, as I said. And so what I've been doing is creating my models here and taking them there. And then the problem with that, though, is when there's a problem with the model, when the model didn't work the way I wanted it to, it's going to take another couple days for me to fix the thing here at the house and then go to my school and then pick it up the next day, and only then to realize it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. And the way it is currently, because I have the 3D printer in my house, when I make a model and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I can make the final adjustments immediately on my computer and just send it straight to my 3D printer and get it going again to make sure I can fix and make the fine adjustments to the things that I'm printing. And that's really fun. Now I also feel like I have the freedom to make mistakes when I print, that I can make things that are really awesome and make things that are a little more adventuresome and it doesn't work, but I'm okay with that because I'm excited just to try new things even if it doesn't work every time. So I've got a time-lapse video that I'm going to show you guys. It's just showing me printing one of my sights. It's not going to be a complete video because my GoPro died, and that's how life works, is stuff doesn't always work the way you want it to, but it's still got most of the video. It's just so cool to see it placing the layers as it goes up on this holographic sight that I made. So I've printed off various things, but so far the main things I've printed off are this. It's like a front sight that someone had commissioned me to make. I'm not sure if it's exactly what he wanted, but I'm working on it, and the goal is to eventually get what he's looking for. But for now, this is what I've made, and it's pretty cool. And it's more of a front sight, and I've made multiple, so you could technically place them and make them more or less aligning, or it can just be at the front of your blaster. Because the truth is, Nerf guns aren't accurate. So a sight, a scope, anything like that isn't really gonna help you be more accurate. It's more for the looks. It's more for the aesthetics of, wow, I feel really cool with this sight on. And so that's the main goal I've been going for. And this is my small holographic-ish pistol sight that I made. It's probably my favorite sight so far, and I've adjusted it so it'll now fit on almost all my blasters. One of the problems I've had with it is that it doesn't quite fit on all the attachment rails. It can be a little snug on some and a little loose on others. I do have the tooth mechanism thing built into it, so it'll still latch on to the knob on the attachment rails, and so it'll still stick in, but on some of them it's a little loose, and then on some of them you're pushing and then you're afraid you're not going to get it off, and so I'm still working out those little things. But all this to say, I'm having so much fun making these prints. These are the prints that I am making that will be on my Etsy store. And there's other things that I'm printing as well that I'm not selling yet because I'm finding I fully made these prints on my, or I made the models on my own, I should say. And then I guess I did make the prints on my own because it's on my printer. But with these, I made the models completely from scratch on my own. Some of the other models I found base models that people have made, and I'm making adjustments to them. And so working around, because I don't want to copyright somebody else's work because they put a lot of effort into that. And so I don't plan on selling any of that kind of thing on my Etsy store. The things that are going to be on my Etsy store are the things that I fully made myself and designed myself and then printed myself, so that I respect that other people put a lot of work into the things they made. And so right now I'm printing off Trigger's flywheel wells, which is really exciting. I'm having a lot of fun. Let me go ahead and show you. So this is my Strife that's currently got 3 IMRs in it. And the fun thing about it is it's got a whole lot of custom parts on it, and I'm very excited by it. I've got, you know, a custom extended magazine release. I've got a different flywheel or rev trigger, and then I've got my little sight on top of it. I've got the screw, the thumb screw, so you can take the battery tray off really fast. But then the most recent thing I've done to it that I'm very excited about is the trigger. I was able to 3D print out a trigger that's a thinner trigger, and it just looks really cool. And most of these are going to be aesthetic mods. I have also printed a flywheel cage, and we're going to see how that works. Depending upon the plastic, it might not work that well, but I'm just trying out these new things and then planning to make my own tweaks and investments into these models so I can make them my own and then sell them to you guys and make them a fun product that can improve your blaster's performance, but also I'm mostly focusing on the aesthetics of them. And I'm planning to start painting some of my sights and doing cool stuff to some of my blaster mods, because it's just really fun to have a really sweet sight, because I love the ones that Nerf makes, kind of, but they're so large and cartoonish, and that can be fun, but it's also fun to have a smaller, very, I don't know, I just love the way this sight looks. It's minimalistic, it's not too much, it's not too little. It works really well, and as you can see, it stays on really well, and then it comes off really well too, because there is an attachment tooth on there. And so yeah, that's a lot of the stuff I've been 3D printing, the triggers, the flywheel well, so I can make a crush flywheel cage, and working on that kind of thing. And I'm very excited by all that. I've printed them before, but I'm planning to make some rifle sights, and so it's going to be similar to the sight that I have on like my pistols and my Strife, but it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit taller, and so it's going to feel more like a rifle sight. And then I've got some scopes that I've made as well that I'm planning to print and see how those work, that I'm planning to eventually add to my store. But for right now, there's not a lot on my store. So go check out my Etsy store. It's Nerf&Turf on Etsy. That's not my channel on YouTube is Nerf&Turf, and so it's Nerf with that little weird logo. I think it's ampersand. We're gonna go with that. It's that weird little logo thing, the Nerf&Turf. However, on Etsy you can't use symbols and that kind of thing, so it's Nerf&Turf. And so look that up on Etsy. I'll flash a screenshot on here of my Etsy store so you can look up the name. And I've only got 2 listings on there so far, so take a look at them, and be sure to comment below on this video if you have an idea of something that you'd like to purchase. If you look at some of the sites that I've made and you go, wow, I'd love to add those to my Nerf guns. However, something I'd really like to add to my Nerf guns is and comment that below, because I'd love to be able to add some more stuff to my store that people are wanting and looking forward to. On top of that, I'm also very excited to start doing commission builds, and so that's people asking me for a specific blaster and specific modifications they want done to it, and whether that's a paint job on top of it, whether that's parts that I've added to it, and that kind of thing. But I'd love to do commission work for people because I've really enjoyed some of the cool mods that I've gotten to make with my own blasters, and I'd love to get to share some of those with people. But I'm very excited by this Etsy store because I'm going to be able to do what I want, make the parts that I want, but I want to make things for people. And so I want to make things that people would enjoy. I want to make things that I enjoy and that I'm going to use on my own personal blasters, but I also want to make things that other people are going to want on their blasters. So please comment below and let me know what type of parts you'd be interested, what type of internal things you'd be interested in me making and adapting. Because I love that idea and I love getting to make things for people. So let me know so I can just continue to grow my Etsy store and get things out there for people that they really enjoy. Hey, well, get on out there and nerf your turf. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.